Now let us start our study of adrenal gland. This figure depicts the structure of adrenal gland. As it can be seen from the figure, a pair of adrenal gland occurs which is located on the anterior part of the kidney. Thus, a pair occurs that is located on the anterior part of each kidney. As it can be seen from the figure, the adrenal gland is yellowish and conical in shape and consists of two layers, the outer adrenal cortex and the inner adrenal medulla. Thus, the structure includes yellowish color and conical shape and is made up of two layers which includes the outer cortex that is outer adrenal cortex and the inner adrenal medulla. Let us study the structure of each of them. Let us start with the first outer layer, that is outer adrenal cortex. This figure describes the LS, that is longitudinal section of the adrenal gland. As it can be seen from the figure, this is the outer adrenal cortex layer which comprises of three layers or which is divided into three layers. First, zona glomerulosa, which is the outer layer, then the middle, zona fasciculata, and the inner zona reticularis. So let us begin with the first layer, that is zona glomerulosa. As said, it is the outer layer of the adrenal cortex. The main function of this to secrete mineralocorticoids. Thus, mineralocorticoids constitute a class of mineral or hormones which helps in maintaining the mineral metabolism and the balance of water. Thus, the main function of zona glomerulosa is that it helps in maintaining the mineral metabolism and water balance. The second layer that comes is middle layer zona fasciculata. That is the middle layer of adrenal cortex. Called zona fasciculata. The main function of this layer is that it produces glucocorticoids. Out of which the most important glucocorticoid out of all is cortisol. The main function of this cortisol is that it helps in the regulation of proteins, fat and carbohydrate. Apart from that, it also has anti-allergic and anti-inflammatory effect. Then comes the third layer, that is the inner layer, zona reticularis. The main function of this layer that it helps in the secretion of sex corticoids. Sex corticoids mainly includes testosterone in case of males, while progesterone and estrogen in case of females. This secretion of sex corticoids from the inner layer zona reticularis also occurs in association with the middle layer, that is zona fasciculata. On this basis, the main function of testosterone is that it helps in the stimulation of the male secondary sexual characters, while that progesterone helps in the production of female secondary sexual characters. Thus, on this basis, corticoids can be defined, which is secreted from all the layers, can be defined as a set of steroid hormones that is secreted from the outer layer, that is adrenal cortex. Thus, this was all about the adrenal cortex. After this comes the inner layer, that is adrenal medulla. The inner layer of the adrenal cortex, that is adrenal gland, is called adrenal medulla, which occurs under adrenal cortex. Adrenal medulla appears to be soft, dark, reddish brown type, that is in the form of reddish brown color. The adrenal medulla secretes two types of hormones, which is adrenaline, also known as epinephrine, and the second is non-adrenaline, which is also called as norepinephrine. These hormones are together constitutively called catecholamines. That is, they come under the group catecholamines. These hormones that are secreted by the adrenal medulla. These hormones are known as emergency hormones because such hormones act under the situation of fight or flight. Such a situation generally arises at the time of danger or stress. Thus, at this time, that is of danger, stress, or emergency, such hormones, that is such catecholamines called adrenaline and noradrenaline, is released. Now, the main function of these hormones is that it increases the alertness, pupillary dilation, raising of hairs, faster heartbeat, and sweating, like many other functions, including these. These symptoms are often noticeable. Moreover, out of these all, the main function of catecholamine is that it helps in the activation of the glycogen breakdown that results in the increased glucose level in blood. As a result of which, the stimulation of breakdown in protein and lipids occurs. Thus, this is all about the adrenal glands, their parts and functions.
Okay, now we will start with the study of one of the most important endocrine glands, that is adrenal gland. Adrenal gland occurs as a pair of yellowish flat pyramid-like glands which lie over the upper end of the kidney. They look like a cap on the kidney. Each gland has an outer yellow adrenal cortex, inner reddish-brown adrenal medulla. Adrenal medulla secretes two hormones called adrenaline or epinephrine and non-adrenaline or non-epinephrine. These are commonly called as catecholamines. In conditions of physical and mental stress, such as fall in blood sugar level, or when a person is injured or exposed to cold conditions or suffering with pain, such gland secreting hormones becomes active. It is also secreted during conditions like anger, fear, or grief. It helps the body to face these conditions. It is therefore called an emergency hormone or fight or flight hormone, which acts as a 3F hormone, that is fight, fright, and flight action. These hormones increases alertness, pupillary dilation, raising of hairs, sweating, and many other actions. The hormone increases blood supply to heart and to skeletal muscles. It also constricts the arterioles and blood supply to skin and gastrointestinal tract. The bronchioles dilate. There is a special increased rate of breathing, oxygenation, and heartbeat to meet any sort of emergency. Catecholamines stimulate the breakdown of glycogen, resulting in increased concentration of glucose in the blood. They also stimulate the breakdown of lipids and proteins, thereby helps in various processes. Adrenal cortex can be divided into three layers. The inner layer, zona reticularis, the middle layer, zona fasciculata, and the outer layer, that is zona glomerulus. Adrenal cortex secretes many hormones called corticoids. Example, glucocorticoids. These corticoids are involved in carbohydrate metabolism. Example, cortisol. The second example of corticoid is mineralocorticoid. These are the corticoids which regulate the balance of water and electrolytes in our body. Example, aldosterone. Glucocorticoids stimulate gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, and proteolysis, that is, the inhibition of various processes, cellular uptake, and utilization of amino acids, which also involves in maintaining the cardiovascular system and various kidney functions. It also produces anti-inflammatory reactions and suppresses the immune response in the body. Cortisol stimulates RBC production, aldosterone acts as renal tubules and stimulates the reabsorption of Na+, that is sodium ion, water, and excretion of potassium, that is K+, and phosphate, that is PO4- ion. Thus, aldosterone helps in maintenance of electrolytes, body fluid volume, osmotic pressure, and BP, that is blood pressure. Small amounts of androgenic steroids are also secreted by adrenal cortex, which play a role in the growth of axial hair, pubic hair, facial hair during puberty time period. Till now we have studied all about the structure and function of adrenal gland. Now we will study about the disorders associated with it. As said earlier, disorders of any gland occurs basically due to lack or excessive secretion of their hormones. Here disorders we will mainly study two. First is Addison's disease. In this, the disorder or disease mainly occurs due to deficiency of mineralocorticoids hormone, which indicates an iron imbalance in the body. Thereby disturbs the entire regulation of the body. The main symptoms of this disease are weakness, weight loss, vomiting, nausea and diarrhea. Second disease is Cushing's syndrome. This disorder mainly occurs due to excessive secretion of cortisol, which again creates an iron imbalance in the body, thereby disrupting the entire mechanism. The main symptoms of this disease are high blood sugar level in the body, Second, obesity. Rise in the blood pressure and its volume. This was all about the disorders of adrenal gland.